What's up, Taiwan? I'm Brossard with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Educators in Taiwan are airing their concerns about the country's bilingual nation policy. The Education Ministry recently announced improvements to the policy, but teachers say there's still not enough to give students a fair education. Tiffany Wong reports.
The National Federation of Teachers Unions is calling for more changes to Taiwan's bilingual education policy, saying that it's made mixed progress over the past 6 years and that's even negatively impacted students' education. Their biggest concern is a requirement known as English as a Medium of Instruction, or EMI, that requires students to take some subjects in English, which they say could actually hinder their understanding of the topics.
曾经出现中文系的教授要用英文来教授中文，教授这个专业的语文的一个课程，这样的一个非常荒谬的一个现象。那透过这样的一个课程，让学生不止没有学到该有的专业，还影响原本的一个学习。那时间一过，对于整体学生的一个学习表现，我想是一个很大的一个伤害。
Earlier this week, the Ministry of Education announced improvements to the bilingual policy, promising to offer more opportunities to speak English outside of the classroom and promoting new technologies to assist with language learning. It also adjusted lessons so only English language classes would be taught in English, but this change only applies to primary and secondary schools, not in higher education. Some students still have concerns about the policy.
我们认为全英文授课，它其实会让那些听不懂英文的学生造成他们对于英文的恐惧，或者是说他会丧失对于语言学习的一个兴趣。那如果学生他完全丧失了对于语言学习的兴趣，他基本上他就是会选择摆烂。
The policy aims to make Taiwan into a bilingual nation by 2030, to make the country's talent more competitive and attract international companies to Taiwan. The educators here say that that's made English language education in Taiwan more competitive, adding pressure on students, parents, and educators to spend time and money on a language that's still not widely used in the country today. Eason Chen and Tiffany Wong in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
While Taiwanese screw manufacturers abroad are thriving, here in Taiwan, many are struggling to survive. Cheap foreign competition and factors like war have caused demand to crater. John Van Trieste has this story.
When this factory stops production at the end of the year, it will join a dozen neighbors in the southern city of Kaohsiung that have already gone under. Taiwan's days as a hardware empire, a kingdom of screws as some people once called it, are long over. This factory was already on life support, with just one machine running for a single day each month as losses mount. From 2022 to 2023, screw exports dropped over 20%, and that trend looks set to continue. Cheap, large-scale competition from China and Vietnam had already put huge pressure on these factories, and a slowdown in car production due to wars overseas was an additional blow.
乌俄战争开始造成那个汽车螺丝业慢慢的萎缩，因为那时候也刚好碰到那个缺晶片。
Global economic trends have added to the pain.
欧洲可以说是消失了。 前1-2年的确他们通膨很严重。
None of these factors alone has been a death blow. Despite low demand, Taiwan still produced over 1 million tons of screws last year. But the end may be looming. Automakers are key customers, and they're changing the way they make cars.
就像现在的汽车一样电动车没有什么公司可以选都是用扣件这样。
There is a sliver of hope. So-called non-standard screws made to order are a rare bright spot. But factories are still shutting down. To stay afloat, economists suggest investing in digital and green technologies. But that takes money screw makers don't have. Their fight to save made in Taiwan is going to be a tough one. Kama Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The Matsu Islands are repurposing and renovating cultural treasures, not just to bring in more visitors, but also to preserve local memories that are starting to fade. John Van Trieste brings us this report as well.
房间号码，这是18号。
Cultural worker Wang Hua-ti guides a tour group through a tea house that once gave military officers and their men a place to relax on a tough assignment. Through the Cold War, the Matsu Islands, just off China's east coast, were part of Taiwan's first line of defense against communist invasion. And in Wang's own lifetime, these islands were a world apart, only coming out of isolation and martial law in 1992. These days, the islands have transformed into a tourism magnet. But Wang is part of a movement to preserve memories of how things used to be and to keep alive a special island fortress identity.
我们有一个很强烈的一种世代的那个记忆的断裂。我的这一辈，我们的这一辈跟我的上一辈，他经历过这样的一个整个过程战地的这个背景的流程。但是我的下一代，如果尤其是在1992年后出生的这一些孩子，他对他来讲，那个年代是跟他来非常遥远。
This isn't an easy task. There are a lot of now abandoned sites to protect. Here on the island of Nangan alone, there are 95 coastal defense batteries. Until recently, efforts to repurpose them were unregulated and full of failures. But the years since 2018 have seen a more sensitive approach, with help from the Culture Ministry. These days, a coalition of architects, artists, and concerned locals discusses what's to be done with old sites and installs public art inspired by them to enhance visibility. One conservation success story is Site 26, a project by architect Zhang Zhengyu. Her modifications to the site won her an architectural award earlier in the year. Since first visiting Matsu in 2017, she's become deeply involved in thinking about how to present the island's heritage to newcomers.
在设计的时候，我们的确是有意图的，想要把人在这个动线的过程当中慢下步来，然后透过这个框洞去看到，你跟村庄的关系。
For local cultural officials, these projects are a way of reclaiming agency on a group of islands whose story has long been shaped by the winds of change from the outside world.
我非常非常希望从战地转移下来是一个艺术岛。我们一直被环境、被政策、被政治，而产生一个样子。那个样子其实从来都不是马祖自己。那么，什么才是真的马祖呢？
And while not everyone appreciates some of the more artistic aims of the program with its new artworks alongside old monuments, islanders are always happy to see more visitors, an important source of income and vitality.
还 OK 吧，我觉得至少它的背后也有马祖2个字，然后对啊，然后就是说让那个区块的游客变多，游客变多了以后，其实让地方也就活络起来了。那我觉得这是非常正面的，这是非常好的。
With many of these refurbishment projects and art installations finished in recent years, there's plenty to see, both for first-time visitors and even for locals. New ways to explore a very special group of islands. Fu Huaheng and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The world's most valuable baseball is on display at the Taipei 101 Observatory. The 50-50 memorial ball was hit by Los Angeles Dodgers slugger Shohei Ohtani on his 50th home run of the season, and it's worth over $4 million. Ohtani is the first Major League Baseball player to hit 50 homers and steal 50 bases in a single season. Taiwanese players attended the unveiling, where they shared words of encouragement for aspiring athletes.
在追求梦想的过程当中，不要做到完美的自己。
不用一定要追求100%的完美。
对，因为完美这2个字是局限了你的想要前进的目标。
The Taipei 101 exhibition organizers hope that the showcase will boost tourism by attracting baseball fans. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out this massive ginkgo tree in South Korea. The 800-year-old protected national monument attracts visitors to admire its autumn foliage. I'm Philip Brossard. Take care. We'll see you next time.